Beautiful day, Patriots. How are you? This is part 9 of Slaughterhouses. I want to put another disclaimer and warning. This is just my personal opinions, thoughts, or just stories. Just stories. They're just make-believe stories, okay? And by no means am I trying to sit there and say for you to believe this blindly, 100%, okay? Now, also, what I'm saying is I could be 100% wrong. 100% wrong. Okay? So we're just going to talk about things here. And slaughterhouses. We were talking about all the different ones that we could see around the place. We could see that these are all being paid by tax dollars. And we see just incredible sizes and grandeurs and erased history of these buildings. And they show up at all the same time. And very few people get credit for building even so many buildings at such a short period of time. So la-di-da-di-da-di-da, right? Now, here in America, we know after the World War II, we had Paperclip, Project Paperclip. And if you don't know what Project Paperclip is, that's because you don't know clip. How do you even spell clip? You don't even know your history. So again, how do you go forward? How do you go forward and keep studying and learning things if you don't know your first stuff? Project Paperclip is when America at the end of the war brought a bunch of scientists and handpicked people from the Third Reich, from the Nazis, and brought them into America secretly, and some not secretly, all right in the open, and brought them into America and set them up into many different positions within the government. Most of it is what we have been told is as scientists, and also some professors, and also within the government itself, within black money funded organizations. They even say that. So, and many others. Now, if that's what we can kind of find, what else have they done? What else have they done? So if Project Paperclip brought some people over, famous names, some of them, Von Braun, the Rocket Man. The Rocket Man. Von Braun, the Rocket Man. Who uses the word Rocket Man and calls somebody else a name called Rocket Man? I'm sure it's a coincidence. So, the Nazis did a lot of weird things, right? And they did a lot of things in industrial buildings. But in our history, they show pictures of these really quick, fast, makeshift camps in the woods. Right? And we see those, and you go there, they're labor camps until extinction, and all kinds of other different things. There were quick labor camps put up in the woods out of sight of everybody, right? Okay, here comes the disclaimer. I want you to be very careful if you feel like you can handle what's coming up next. I tell you, be careful. Yesterday we went up into the woods and we're doing our things, and we were I went to a brand new place, and we went down the roads, these roads that I'd never seen before, or the person that was driving. We drove down and we saw this spot, and we're like, you know what, this doesn't look like the right spot we want to be in. Not because of any reason, we were looking for firewood. And we're like, whoa, look at this. There was a road and it wide. And we go look at, those trees are, okay. Now, we've spent years in the woods. We know woods. And we're like, and every once in a while you see something that just doesn't look right. Now, we know we forest and we deforest and then plant. Sometimes the rows are in a straight line. Sometimes it's sporadic. We do this. And you go out there and you'll see all trees at exactly the same height all the time. But we left these and we're like, Then we saw the sign. We're like, oh, look, drive up. We'll see what the sign says. And the sign said, of course, federally tax funded, scientist test of all the trees here are to see how they will grow scientifically. And the thing that the sign says is that they were all female species trees. And now it just dawns on me. Female species trees, pine trees. I didn't know that pine trees were male and female. But that's what the sign said. All female pine trees to see how they grew. I'm ad-libbing that a little bit. And me and my buddy would look at each other and go, that is strange. And then, I comment, yeah, just like a natural habitat. All females, just like a natural habitat. Let's see how it naturally works, right? So when we reversed out, we started, it was just time to go. And then we noticed all these poles. But they blended in with everything. And I said, you know how fast it would be just to bob wire something like that up? I mean, just instantly bob wire that up. They're 8-foot poles already set up that you can't even see. It was so camouflaged. It was so beautiful. And then when we look back at the trees, I'm like, look at those trees, man. Look at this. They're all trees. Because like I say, it's normal to see them all whole forest of the same size because they're regrowing because of cutting. But all the trees, let's just pretend that's a tree. And here's the ground. You could look through this place just so far back. It was really, really bizarre. And there was no growth on the ground. Okay, it was all manicured. Beautiful flat and all nice. But the thing is that each one of these trees, the tree branches were all cut off. And it's all just a straight, perfectly pole of a tree where the branches and tree branches didn't start till about 10 to 12 feet above ground. So you could see all the way through that. And you think, oh, that's still no big deal. But what if? What if? And how easy would it be to come in, cut this here and here, and have an absolutely perfect straight pole of construction size to build any structures you needed or wanted on site at already a predetermined height and size and diameter. And then when I was thinking about this morning, I'm like, all female trees, what the heck is all female trees? And then I was like, shoot. Just like the Nazis did. They've got these camps out in the forest. Everybody's looking for FEMA camps and all these other, slaughterhouses, and I get that. But there's so many of them in different ways and styles. Underneath the guise of tax dollars, that if you were going to do a genocide and you were going to raise a new group of slaves, you would have camps of all different sorts all over the place. Some of them to be workers, some of them to be re-educated, but one of the things you would need is more children. Therefore, they would have camps that were designed and dedicated strictly for the females to be able to produce children, all at the same age, all at the same time, all at the same able to learn, all at one given time, all to remember the exact same story, with nobody remembering anything different. Absolutely not a single living soul remembering anything different. And in the woods like this, the way that was settled in these places, it was so far way back there in this beautiful valley. Not valley like, you could see, but valley because of the trees and stuff. And right up a big tall mountain, it was way losable. I know forests, and that was one of the comments I said, man, I would not, because it was a new forest. I don't like these forests. It's just too amazingly dangerous out here of knowing which way is which is rare. And it would also be one of the most beautifulest places to have people be able to be calm, relaxed, to be able to raise and go through pregnancy non-stressful. Put out in the night, scary sounds, throw over some bears and a lion and a tiger and a bear. Oh my. Anybody that tries to escape and doesn't, you just bring back a mountain lion's half dinner. Who would run with no shoes, no experience, incredible sounds coming out of loudspeakers in the middle of the night that petrify you? What would you do? Well, you say, what I would do if I was in Nazi Germany at the time, I wouldn't do this, and I